Hey, welcome back to Gecko Tech and Gaming. So today, I'm going to be doing a quick review and teardown of the MAXFIT67. This is a keyboard from Fantech. I've been using this for several weeks now. Really like it so far, just plain stock. The way I have it right now is out of the box, no mods. But I'm going to do a full teardown. We'll see what's inside this thing. But considering it's a pre-built keyboard from a gaming company, this is actually pretty surprisingly good with some really key features that I think make it more valuable than the asking price. Surprised this thing hasn't gotten more attention. Let's tear this thing down and see how it looks. All right, and here we are. This is the Fantech MAXFIT67, 65% layout. You can see it's got the exploded keys. For me, this is really my ideal layout. I really like this layout because it still keeps it compact and it is wireless. Right on the back here, on and off. So not only is it shorter without that function row on top, but you also get the benefit of not having to have this plugged in. I have it charging. I've been using this unplugged on the 2.4 hertz, so not even the Bluetooth. I've had this on continuously for over a week before I had to charge it, which is pretty darn good. That battery life will get better if you're using Bluetooth and if you're using it without the lighting. I had lighting on most of the time, about half the time. It's been a week of continuous use and I've only needed to charge it just now. So pretty nice. There's the Fantech core driver that I have opened right now, and I have tried everything to get this thing to work, but it will not recognize the keyboard. When I first downloaded it, it opened perfectly fine, it worked correctly, but after I closed it, it would no longer work. So I've tried reinstalling Fantech core, reset my computer, turned this on and off, tried it wired, unplugged, and nothing works. No matter what I do, I can't get it to recognize this. At least for my unit, it is unfortunately not programmable. Now, even though I can't program mine with the Fantech core driver, it does have a bunch of pre-made ones, as you see. This is still that wave, but you can change the color with the P button here. And these are all preset. I didn't have to program any of this. So along with being able to change colors for pretty much, it seems like all of them, or at least most of the patterns, you can change the actual patterns themselves here. And with each one, you can choose different colors too. So, and you can do that with pretty much all of them. So even in my case, where I'm not able to use the driver, there's a lot of preset colors as well as spectrum cycling modes. I'm not too bummed about it. So these are PBT keycaps, and they are not like your usual PBT. These have a very smooth, almost like satin texture to them. They're not gritty like most PBT keycaps are. These are very smooth, very pleasant feeling. These are die-subbed OEM profile, but what is really cool about these, they're south-facing LEDs. For a gaming keyboard, that's really interesting. All of the keys on here are south-facing. None of them are like randomly north-facing or anything like that. So this keyboard is going to be compatible with really any keycap set that you can possibly think of. The big one that people run into problems with is cherry profile, since north-facing LEDs can sometimes cause some interference with certain rows, but since these are south-facing, you can use whatever keycaps you want, which is very nice. So the keyboard comes in a black and a white version. I got the black one, and each of those comes with either kailh box white switches or gateron milky yellow switches. And the other big benefit of this is that it is a hot swap PCB. So if you want to change out these switches to a different type of switch, super easy to do so. It won't be an issue at all. We've got a plastic case. It's a plastic bottom and plastic top, so it's really not like anything super fancy, but you know, it's good enough. And it is surprisingly heavy for a plastic case. It's not gonna move around or budge on you, slide around. This is very nice. As well, you've got these little rubber feet on the bottom here. If you like a higher profile, you've got two levels for these feet here. So there's that level, and then there's a smaller feet here. So you've got 2 angles to work with, which is very nice. I like that they give you the option for that. It also has this little knob here, so you can change your volume up and down super easy, and clicking mutes. Okay, so now let's get all these keycaps off. Okay, and here we are. And yeah, that lighting is pretty gosh darn nice. One thing that's really cool here is they've got their own nice little palm stabs here. These are made for this keyboard. Outer housing looks like it might be nylon or polycarbonate, but that stem is palm, so that's pretty nice. Another really nice feature to have there. They're not just generico cruddy stems for these. As you can see, these are pre-lubed. There's like a pretty fat glob of lube. The spacebar isn't as well done, but all the other ones are pretty heavily lubed. But I do think this needs a little bit more work in the stabilizer department for all of them, because there is still a little bit of chatter. If you're looking for a keyboard that you don't really want to mess with a whole lot, you just want to slap some keycaps on there or just use it as is, this is a pretty decent job. It's not too bad. I mean, you heard from the sound test. If I haven't played it yet, I'll play it now, but it wasn't too bad. The spacebar was definitely not great, but shift, delete, enter, they sounded pretty decent. For an out of the box experience. Not perfect. You can definitely get these better with some, I'll probably do a holy mod on these, maybe add some Band-Aid underneath for the PCB. But we'll see once I open it up. Take this off first. Comes off real easy. Just pull straight out. Probably gonna want to take the plate off from here first. So I'm gonna do that now. And there we go. So now we got this off. As you can see, oh, look at that. Yeah. So we've got some plate foam right here, and there's a small, pretty thin, but it's still appreciated, a little bit of foam under here too in the casing. So that's probably partly why it feels fairly heavy, all things considered. This is actually probably a stainless steel plate here. So before I pull this off, actually, it's pretty nice. These are some little rubber stoppers here. So that should help with some of the hollowness that you can sometimes get with space bars. But okay, let's pop this open. Always be careful when you're popping on the keyboard, because you don't want that cable to get pulled. A nice pre-cut piece of foam here. Now again, this is kind of thin. It's not a whole lot, but yeah. This is actually not super heavy. A lot of the weight seems to be from up here. This is a pretty substantial, it looks like might be some EVA foam in here, along with the plate here. This is definitely stainless steel, it's not aluminum, too heavy. I'm gonna go ahead, pull out the stabilizers, do some mods with them, kind of see what they need to be done. And I think I'm gonna tape mod this, do a little bit of a tape mod on the PCB here, put it back together once the stabilizers are all set and all that. Be right back once that's all done. Okay, so I have the stabilizers all pulled out here, and as you can see, yeah, they've got some pretty good amount of lube on here from the get-go. It doesn't look like it's proper 205, like a Krytox. It looks a lot more white here. So it could be 205 grade 0. Hard to tell. Now, one nice thing here that further reduces the need for any mods, this is flat, completely flat. You don't need to clip these at all. Very nice. All right, so I did the holding mod here, and I also put some, I actually have some medical foam tea. I decided to do a little bit of an experiment there and put that down here on the PCB underneath the stabilizers instead of using Band-Aid, and it worked really well. So yes, all of these are south facing except for the spacebar. However, that shouldn't be a problem. Spacebar, to my knowledge, you're not going to get too much interference with, but just keep that in mind. That one is north facing, which, oof. What I also did was applied a little bit of lube on the outside of the stems, so a little bit on the sides and inside the housing. Those were actually a little bit dry. If you want to take it a little bit easier, the holy mod is a little bit annoying. So you could probably get away with just doing the lube on the inside of the housings and the outside of the stems, as well as doing the Band-Aid mod to the actual PCB underneath here, and that'll probably do you good. I'm just going all out with the holy mod just because, you know, why not? Here we are, fully modded out. So I replaced the keycaps with some cherry profile keycaps, since if we're going to be using south-facing LEDs, might as well use cherry profile. I'll put the modifications I did up near the top. I won't waste a bunch of time rattling through them all, just so you can see. Now that everything's been modded out, especially those stabilizers, let's do one more sound test and see how it sounds before and after. Out of the box, this is pretty decent. It already comes with pre-lubed stabilizers. They're not perfect, but otherwise just as a pre-built keyboard. It already has pre-lubed milky yellow gateron switches. Those are really good. They felt really nice for just typing, but they were also really good for gaming, super smooth. South-facing LEDs for the cherry profile keycaps like I have on now. It comes with so much, including the wireless. It's got dual Bluetooth and the 2.4 Hertz wireless, so it's packing a lot. And it is $100 USD, so this isn't a budget board necessarily, but you're cramming a ton of features into this keyboard that at $100 is a pretty fair price. There are a couple things that I would recommend in terms of making this better. I would say having a bare bones version of this would be a big bonus. Now, it sounds like they're already planning on releasing a aluminum case version. I think it would be really cool if they made that aluminum case release available as an aftermarket purchase for people who already have the MAXFIT67. I would definitely spring for a nice aluminum case for this thing. I could really recommend this for someone who is prioritizing gaming as well as someone prioritizing more of a typing experience. I think that this is really going to be a great layout for a lot of people. So all in all, I really like this keyboard. Super convenient, great layout, comes with a lot of what you already need. And for someone who doesn't want to do a bunch of modding, this isn't bad at all. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, you guys. Y'all take care, God bless, and I'll see you on the next one, okay? Later.